Hey, good afternoon, guys. Keith KL Belvin here. I know it has been quite some time since I had been on live on my regular page. I pretty much do everything on my in my group, Unapologetically Keith. So you should be there because that's where we do the live shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 9:30 to 10:30 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, covering a little bit of everything. So you may not see me as much here on my regular page, but I pray everything is well with everyone. Good to be here. And so I wanted to come on today, and I know I'm sorry I'm late. First I said 1 o'clock, then I said 2:30. But when you're doing remote learning, and parents, some of y'all are going to be able to rock with this. You know, when you're doing remote learning, you hope that the school day with your child goes smoothly. But, you know, when dealing with a computer, anything could happen. So part of everything that's happening is, let me fix my lighting here. There we go. Part of what I'm dealing with is it can look one way, and then all of a sudden it can become something different. Let me just clean this up here. There we go. So I'm home every day with the little one as she's going through the remote learning. But I did not want to keep you too long today. I wanted to get right into this. So you guys know that I am counseling and coaching and, you know, so all the forms of therapy. And I think we sometimes overlook how cathartic movies can be to help us get through some of the things that we deal with. So here's what I want to show you, and here's what I want to give you today, because I'm a movie junkie. I love movies, old and new. I haven't seen as many of the new movies, but I love movies. Other than the paranormal and horror genre, I pretty much dig I dig all movies, but you can hang up the paranormal ones and stuff like that. Not happening, not my thing. But what I wanted to show you today is I wanted to make a connection. I was watching it the other day, and I said, you know what, this really explains how therapy works. And I said, you know what, I'll teach about this someday, but right now I want to do it live. I am going to possibly set up something later on. So let's go through this. The movie I'm talking about is A Christmas Carol. Will be on in numerous forms over the next coming weeks leading up to Christmas, and then of course Christmas Day you'll see it at least 3 or 4 times, and then of course between Christmas and New Year's you're going to see it quite often. And you know, it's Ebenezer Scrooge in his many forms, and I think everybody has their own version that they like, and there's been many versions. I can't say any one particular one I like over the other one. I just think they're all pretty cool. But I'm talking about the story itself. And if you don't know the story, Ebenezer Scrooge is a very nasty, negative guy who is tight with his money, could care less about people in the world. He's a business owner. And to him, it's all about the paper. It's just make as much money as you can, do what you can. Okay, so you may go, what does that got to do with therapy? Well, I'm going to show you. He had a partner who passed away. His name was Jacob Marley. And so we find out when we watch the movie is that they give you a little bit of his backstory. They show you that he has a nephew that is happy-go-lucky and enjoys the holiday spirit. And he doesn't really have a connection with his nephew. But he's connected to him, but he doesn't have a real heartwarming connection with the nephew. Okay. And then we see Bob Cratchit. Bob Cratchit is his assistant who works under him, and Cratchit comes in, and he pretty much does what he's told, and he comes in a little late, and Scrooge is giving him the business about coming late. He talks to Mr. Scrooge about turning up the heat, and he's like, man, please, how much heat costs? So they show you early that while when we call somebody who's cheap, we call them Scrooge, this is where that term comes from. Is that term Scrooge has resonated around the world as if somebody's a Scrooge, we know that they're tight with the buck and they're just a nasty person if you're just a Scrooge. And we know that in all the movies, Scrooge says bah humbug, because he doesn't get into the holidays and he doesn't care about anything. Okay, and again, I'm going to explain to you what this has to do with therapy. Well, we then see the spirit of Jacob Marley show up, and he comes to tell his former partner, listen, these chains that I wear I'm chained to the things that I was serious about in the real life, in the world. Now in the other side, these are the chains that I carry. And so here we have the spirit show up to say, man, listen, the things that I was tied to in the world, I'm tied to here in the other world. And Ebenezer goes, how do I know you're even real? You might just be indigestion. You might be something that I ate, not settling well in my stomach. And homeboy tells him that three spirits are going to come and visit you tonight, Christmas Eve, and have a conversation with you. Now, so here's somebody introducing their own plight, their own negative outcome to Ebenezer, which happens in real life. We have people who will come to us and tell us what happened to them. And like Ebenezer, many of us will deny that it's even an issue, or we come up with an excuse that it's not real. Just like when someone mentions therapy. When somebody mentions therapy, a lot of times people will deny that they need it, deny that there's even a reason for it, like whatever, or they'll make up a reason why they do what they do. So okay, fine. We see that we now see that that's the case, and so now Ebenezer goes on to sleep because he's like, whatever, I'm going to do me now. And he's visited by the spirit of Christmas past, and this spirit walks him through who he used to be and the things that went on in his life. Now, why is this important and why is this connected to therapy? Simple. A good therapist is going to walk you through or connect you to things that have gone on in your past, because it's going to start to make sense where the genesis or the start of some things manifested in your life. And this is what the movie is actually walking you through. So now Ebenezer gets to see himself happy. He gets to see himself when things were in a better way. He also gets to see when he was a little heartbroken because he did have somebody that he loved, but he chose his career, he chose money over even love. And he sees that he was as happy-go-lucky as a lot of the people around him, but he made the decisions that he made, and that's what put him in the position that he's in. Now remember, this is a successful man, but he's struggling internally. And I say often to people that we have a lot of people who are public successes but private failures. So now we move on to the second spirit. Second spirit, now this spirit, and he basically, at the end of the first spirit, he's like, I don't want to see this, and the spirit now departs, and he kind of wakes up and he's like, okay, maybe I'm dreaming, maybe there's something wrong with me. So again, even though his past was presented to him, still not hitting home that maybe some things need to change. And again, this is what happens in therapy. Just because I address your past, it doesn't mean that you automatically start to change. So when the next spirit shows up, this spirit shows up, and it is the spirit of things present. And this spirit shows Ebenezer what's going on right now. And they're walking around. He gets to hear how people really feel about him. He gets to see his nephew, who his wife goes, why do you even bother with that old geezer? And he's like, because I honestly believe that deep down he's got a good spirit, and someday it'll come out. That's why we save a plate for him at the table. And, then they show that there's some other people who are basically happy if he had died. And then he goes to Bob Cratchit's house, and he sees that Bob Cratchit's family is doing bad. And Tiny Tim, Bob Cratchit's son, has a disability, and he sees all this. And he sees how, like, things that he said and how people reacting to it. And so, again, he's now, you may say, what does that have to do with therapy? It's because once we look at the past, we have to look at where you are right now, because this is what's going to allow a therapist and counselor or coach to figure out what's going to be the game plan. So once we understand where you've been, and now once we understand where you are, now that helps us to take shape. Now the therapy starts to take shape. Now the actual planning and the healing can actually start to take shape, because if I'm doing my job correctly, I have shown you where things were, I show you where things are, and where do you think that that leads us? You're 100% right. Things to come. And I'm glad that you said that, because the next spirit that comes, ooh, and the third and final spirit is the deepest and darkest of the spirits. Depending on which version of the movie that you watch, it's the specter of death. The specter that we're all going to face at some point. So when the specter of death shows up, if you pay attention, there are no words. Basically, the specter of death points to things. And as the specter of death is showing Ebenezer what could be, now, like in a good therapy session or a number of sessions, you'll know when you're starting to have breakthroughs when you listen to the questions that are offered from the person that you're working with. It's the same thing in the classroom. I knew I was hitting home with what I was trying to teach when the questions that kids would ask were now from a deeper detail or from a changed position. That means I've done my job. I got them to consider something, think about something. Now they're going to present their query because they want to know something, because I've been able to stimulate their minds. Well, now that death is showing him what's going to happen. And Tiny Tim catches it, he catches it. And I think one of the best parts of the third spirit is that now that he has Scrooge shook up, Scrooge says, "Spirit, oh Spirit," he's broken now. And again, in therapy, once you get a person open and they're ready for change, that's a good point, because now you can pour the positive into them. He says, "Spirit, is this set? Is this where I'm destined to end up? Is this how it's going to be? Can I change it? Can I do something different?" Now again, here's what I was saying just earlier. Peep the question. Is this set? Which means he's thinking about it. Is this how it's going to end up? Because now he's considering options. And he's like, is there any, can I change this? Now he wants to know how deep my options go. And in therapy, if a person can recognize something's wrong, realize that they don't want the outcome that's coming from where they were, but want to go somewhere different. Now, as a coach, as a counselor, as a therapist, now you're in a good place, because now you can say, hey, consider this, go in this direction. So now when Scrooge wakes up, he looks around, he realizes he's not dead. He busts open the window, little boy is walking by, "Hey, what's today?" Kid looks up at him, "It's Christmas, stupid." And he's like, "Really? Okay, hold on." He's like, "Does that prize turkey still in the window at the market?" He said, "Yeah." "Well, go buy it and go take it to this address." And again, the rest you got to check out. You know, he goes to Bob Cratchit's house, he goes to his nephew's house. But that I just gave you with the three spirits is how counseling, how therapy works. Because now when he gets up Christmas morning, realizes that he didn't die, he still has the knowledge that he got from the three spirits. And now, whatever version you watch, it says that he went on to be one of the best men in that town ever. And now I'm not saying that therapy is going to cause you to be the best man or best woman ever. But what I can tell you is that if you go through a good therapy session, series of sessions, good coaching sessions, or you get with a good coach, you get with a good therapist, you get with a good counselor, and you can acknowledge your past, your present, and your future, and you can put the change in, then key thing, put the work in, you can create a new pathway for yourself and create a new outcome, which is what Scrooge did. And that's how watching the movie A Christmas Carol is actually a great antithesis, great epitome of therapy, because that's what a therapist is trying to do. I'm trying to get you to look at your past, look at your present, and let's address the future. And if you can make those changes, you've automatically changed your future. Now, I'm so glad that you had the time to watch and pay attention to what I'm doing. And as you know, I am Keith K.L. Belvin. I am a counselor. I am a crisis specialist, per se. That is what my title is. That's what I am. I am a crisis specialist, and I am here to help you with the problems that you have. I specialize in working with women 35 to 65, but I am open to work with anybody who needs help. And why do I do this? It's my ministry. This is how I serve the Lord, by helping others. And so if anything that I said resonates with you, if anything that you watched today and you go, that's interesting, let's talk, reach out. bit.ly/Coach Keith. bit.ly/Coach Keith. And or just hit me up in my inbox and say, hey Keith, how can I get in touch with you? I would love to work with you. I would love to be able to try to help you with any problems that you have, because as you hear me say, and you will hear me say, bring me your pain. Hashtag bring me your pain. Yes, hashtag bring me your pain. What does that mean? It means bring me your problems. And second hashtag, we can fix this. So let me show you how this works. You bring me your pain, your problem. You and I figure out a way to fix what's wrong. That's what I do. And I pray as we get ready to move into this holiday season that you do not let the overwhelming negative feelings that can come behind this COVID situation and the holidays that a lot of people are going to miss overwhelm you to the point that you can't live your life the way that you choose. You don't have to be that way. I'm here. Reach out. Let's talk. All right? My information will be in the description, or you can always find me. Just reach out. I am here. I want to be here, and I want to help. And I'll be popping on again to show you how some other movies are great with therapy. There's a couple others that I want to show you that will be fantastic to be able to help you understand what therapy does. But if you please share this, well, you know the rules. Like this, share this. But by all means, let others know that I'm here. Okay? And I look forward to helping out in any way possible. I want you to take care. It's been a pleasure. Tonight on Unapologetically Keith, Tiff and I are talking about why do some men take so long to be engaged and not get married. We're going to talk about it tonight on Unapologetically Keith, 9:30. You have to be in the private group to be able to participate in the show. All right? And if you have not been in the group, you are missing out. We have some great conversations with some great and intellectual people. All right? Take care. God bless. Remember, share this, like this, and let folks know what I do. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. God bless.